Hey, everybody. Welcome to the EP Fan Zone, the podcast that is by, for, and about Elvis fans. Thank you all for joining us again tonight. Once again, my name is Kevin Booth, and I am with my daughter.
Abby?
Abby might sound a little bit different to you all tonight because she's not in studio. She is down in Florida. So we're doing this between West Virginia and Florida. So it might sound a little bit different, but we're going to have fun. It's just Abby and I tonight. We're not going to have a guest. We're going to talk about a bunch of different stuff tonight, stuff going on in the Elvis world and all kinds of stuff. So we'll talk about that. We've got some Elvis history coming up here in a little bit, and we'll talk a little bit about some of that. So it's going to be a different kind of a episode, but a fun episode. And we thank you all for joining us once again tonight. Let me turn this other microphone off here. There we go. I'm making some noise there. All right. So thanks a lot for joining us. So Abby, we've both seen EPiC now a couple times.
Yeah.
You've seen it twice. I've seen it twice. Was there anything different the second time when you saw it? Did you catch up anything different that you didn't see the first time?
I don't think so. Did you?
Was it a lot different in the regular theater than it was in IMAX?
It was quieter. Like cuz Elvis is a very soft and quiet talker. He's not loud. So when he was talking, it was kind of hard to hear what he was saying. But other than that, it was pretty good and the picture looked the exact same. And what's cool about the theater that I went to is while they were waiting for the previews to start, they were playing random clips of Elvis, and then they played the Elvis is Everywhere music video from 1987, and they played this Tiny Elvis thing. I guess it was some kind of show back then. I don't know. But they played a whole bunch of the Ed Sullivan Dorsey Brothers shows, which was really cool. And then they
That's
played
really neat.
the regular previews.
That's really neat. Well, I've got to say my second experience was pretty close to IMAX. I got to give props to the folks at the Regal Theater in Hagerstown, Maryland. The sound was unbelievable, and so was the picture.
If I could see it down here, you know what's crazy? The closest theater to my mom is called EPiC Theaters.
Imagine that.
So I could see EPiC in EPiC.
I think you need to make that happen. We're going to get on your mom and get her to take you to see EPiC at the EPiC Theater. That has to happen. Even our good friend Dan Hawthorne and Patricia, they actually traveled to Hagerstown because they heard me bragging about it, and they were of the same opinion that it was pretty close to the IMAX experience, and the sound and all was just...
Hopefully it stays in theaters for that long, and I can go see it there.
I hope so. I hope it stays in theaters for a couple more weeks, hopefully.
The Elvis movie was in theaters for what, 2 or 3 months? On and off.
Yeah, it was. And then, of course, it'll be back because I think Baz will put this thing back into theaters again.
Oh, I'm sure. He did it multiple times with Elvis. So.
Because, the Elvis movie with Austin, it didn't really make a difference. I mean, it was cool seeing it on the big screen, but it transferred to the small screen well.
Yeah. But this is a concert.
Movie,
this is like a concert, not really a documentary, but a concert documentary. It's supposed to be loud and on the big screen, really big screen.
This movie is so beautiful and so amazing that you have to see it on the big screen. And it's definitely not going to be as cool unless you hook up a PA system in your house and play it through that, or if you have really good speakers or something. Yeah. Our friend Brian, who was on a couple weeks ago, he said that was the closest to seeing Elvis since he saw him in 1976.
Yeah, and it's going to be the same way for us younger generation. This is going to be the closest we ever get to seeing Elvis in person other than ETAs. And then, those Elvis shows that they do in, Memphis and London and stuff.
Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Hopefully this has long legs. So speaking of the movie and the theaters and all of that kind of stuff, numbers are pouring in. The worldwide total right now is pretty much at $15 million. That's what it's made so far. We'll know more about numbers at the end of this week after a week's run in the regular movie theaters and stuff. Domestically here in the U.S., it's made about $8.2 million. Internationally, it's made about $6.7 million. The film opened strongly in IMAX theaters, initially playing in about 325 locations. Early numbers showed roughly $3 to $4 million in its opening weekend from the limited IMAX screens, which was really good. It
Mhm.
actually topped the IMAX movies that were out a particular week. And after it expanded into more theaters, it added millions more to the total. Um, the movie quickly crossed $14 million globally, which is considered a solid result for a concert documentary. Concert films and stuff like that usually have much smaller budgets and theater runs than the major Hollywood releases do. So concert documentaries rarely reach blockbuster numbers, but films about legendary artists like Elvis and others do surprisingly well because they attract multiple generations of fans. And we've seen that. We've seen young, we've seen old, and we've seen middle aged in the movie theaters. When you saw it the second time, was it not a very big crowd there in Winchester?
Not really. I think it was I don't know how many people were in there. It wasn't a lot, but I think it was a pretty good crowd.
It was a mix of different ages and
It kinda I think it was mostly, like, middle-aged to old. Me and my cousins were definitely the youngest ones there, I think.
now, do you think your cousins who are not really Elvis fans at all, they just kinda
No,
came
not at
along,
all.
but do you think it had any impact on them as far as them saying, "Wow, this guy might be pretty cool"?
To Jackson, who was, like, I think he's 11 or 12, definitely not at all. I don't think he had any interest in it. Brantley, who was 14, I think I think he thought he was cool. He walked out and said Elvis was a pimp. So I think he thinks he's pretty cool, but I haven't heard him say anything else about Elvis, unfortunately. But it was
Very
still
cool.
good to, uh, show them the man that they know I obsess over all the time.
Absolutely. So we've talked about the movie. Let's talk about the soundtrack. As expected, the numbers here in the US are okay. But as usual, in the UK, Elvis's music is at number one right now. The Elvis Presley in concert soundtrack reached number one on the UK albums chart. It's very significant because Elvis continues to chart strongly in the UK decades after his passing. It's pretty impressive. Elvis already holds the record for the most UK number one singles ever. That's 21 number one singles in the UK. And that's more than the Beatles. That's amazing. The Beatles are from there. And
Yeah,
Elvis has
literally.
more number ones than they do. The Beatles only have 17.
Like I said,
Um,
the UK appreciates Elvis more because they got him. Or they didn't get him, sorry. They
right.
got the Beatles, but they didn't get Elvis. So they don't have, like, places to go to see where Elvis was or whatever. They only get ETA shows and then those really big shows that they do with the band.
So some of those number one hits were Jailhouse Rock, It's Now or Never, Suspicious Minds, The Wonder of You. And his last number one hit in the UK was really not that long ago. It was in 2002, A Little Less Conversation, the remix hit number one over there in the UK. So it was only 24 years ago that Elvis had his last number one hit in
Mhm.
the UK. It's just incredible. His albums have spent over 60 weeks at number one in the UK across his career. He's had 13 UK number one albums in his career. He has had 49 top 10 albums in the UK, and over 100 Elvis albums have charted there. Even more impressive than that, Elvis's albums have spent over 500 weeks in the UK top 10 over his career and more than 1,300 weeks in the UK top 75 charts.
Holy crap.
That means that Elvis has basically lived on the charts in the UK for decades. And the new soundtrack shows that new Elvis releases can still reach the top of the charts nearly 50 years after his death. And what's amazing is that Elvis isn't just surviving in the charts, he's competing with modern artists and still winning. I mean, it's just incredible. I think still my favorite thing on the album, I still think is "Oh Happy Day." I think it's still my favorite cut on that whole
Yeah,
album. Has it changed for you, or are you still hanging on?
I don't know. Oh Happy Day is definitely a favorite, but wearing that nightlife look or whatever is really gotten to me again. It's so I love it. I love it. And then I really like polk salad.
Yeah, Polk Salad was really good. a lot of complaints are coming out. I don't know why people got to complain, but they do. People are complaining because there wasn't whole versions. Most of the songs in the movie weren't whole versions; they were cut up. Just partial versions of songs. Did that bother you at all, or no?
No, because I'm watching Elvis on the big screen, so I don't care.
Me neither. It really doesn't matter to me at all. And sometimes you don't even notice. It's just so
I didn't notice.
cool. I mean, there was a couple that I
I
noticed,
had
like
to I had to think back. I was like, huh, because I've seen people complain about that, and I was like, "Are you sure?" 'Cause I thought that's not what I remember.
it's crazy. Like, never been to Spain. I think I realized was partial and walk a mile in my shoes. Obviously,
Yeah.
came across that way, but other than that, it really didn't bug me. It didn't bug me. I wasn't bothered by it.
And
But there's
a lot of the time they'd play half of a song and then they'd go to like an interview and then they go back to the song again.
right,
So,
and that didn't really bother me at all.
yeah.
So I'm hoping to be able to see it again. This weekend's my birthday. I might go and see it one more time.
I'm really hoping
Um,
I can go see it again.
I hope you can. We're gonna make that happen. Um, so we're gonna do a segment that we've talked about for a while. We've been wanting to make this segment a regular on the show. So we're going to be doing this week in Elvis history, and this is probably going to become a normal thing on the show. And Abby's going to do this part, and of course, we'll talk about things as we go through here. So here we go. For the very first time on the EP Fan Zone podcast, we're going to be doing this week in Elvis history, put together by Abby. So Abby, take her away. What happened this week in Elvis history? And I want to explain that we're not going by year. We're just going kind of by the date that things happened in this first week of March in Elvis history. So here we go. Take it away, Abby. What happened this week in Elvis history?
On March 1st, 1970, Elvis played the Houston Astrodome in Texas. He played 2 shows at 2 and 7:45 p.m., and after the final show, there was a press conference where Elvis was presented with gold records for 5 of his 1969 releases.
Pretty cool.
On March 2nd, 1960, Elvis officially left Germany. On March 3rd, 1960, the next day, Elvis stepped foot onto British soil for the first time and only time in his life. He stepped on Canadian soil for the last time, and then he arrived in New Jersey in the middle of a really big snowstorm and held a press conference, which Nancy Sinatra attended. I think that was the first time they ever met, right?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. March 4th, 1974, going pretty ahead. Elvis played the Astrodome again. 4 years later, Elvis set a 1-day attendance record with his 2 shows that day, which was 52 years ago today. Um, March 5th, 1960, Elvis officially was released from the Army in New Jersey. He received his mustering out check of $109.54 and was honorably discharged. Kissin' Cousins opened worldwide on March 6, 1964, completed in just 17 days.
17 days.
Just over 2 weeks it took to film the movie. It earned $3 million at the box office and finished at number 26 on the year-end list of the top grossing movies of 1964.
Well, hey, Abby, let's stop right there and do a little clip from the movie Kissin' Cousins that opened this week in Elvis history in 1964. Here's a little clip from that movie. Here we go. There's no reason for shooting.
This is Tatum territory, Yankee. Now take your gas buggies and skedaddle off of Pappy's Mountain.
That's no way to be greeting Ken folks.
Joe?
Jody. What are you doing with my face? That's all right. Good question, friend. What's your name? What's yours? I'm, Josh Morgan from Hidden Rock, North Carolina.
Bring you his kinfolk. My name's Selena Tatum, and that's my sister Zalia. Howdy. This here's our cousin Jody Tatum.
If I'd known you gals were so downright good looking, I'd have been up here a long time ago. Don't let him sweet talk you. He ain't proved he's kinfolk yet. Oh, I can prove that too. My great-great-aunt Euphrasia married Tatum back in 1907.
See, Jody, he is kinfolk.
Practically kissing cousins.
There we go. There's a little clip from the movie Kissing Cousins. Abby, where does that rank in your Elvis movie favorites list? Is that up there anywhere?
No. Very low.
Very low.
Not one of my favorite. I used to watch it pretty often, but then it's like, ugh, it's not a good movie. It's one of my it's down there with Double Trouble, I think.
Not one of your faves, huh?
No.
How about the soundtrack? There's some decent music.
The soundtrack's great other than like Barefoot Ballad.
I love Tender Feeling has always been one of my favorite songs.
Oh, yeah.
I love Tender Feeling, and Once Is Enough, I think, is a pretty cool song.
Yeah, there's a lot of good. Echoes of Love is a good song.
Yeah, that's a really good song. And there's another song that's evading me right now. Won't you show me how to kiss? Put your lips on mine.
Oh, Catching On Fast.
Catching On Fast. I've always liked that song. Catching On Fast is pretty good. It's a good soundtrack, and the song "Kissing Cousins," of course, is a really good song overall.
Mm-hmm.
But the movie itself, is really not high on my list either. But every now and then, if I find it on, I'll leave it on because it's Elvis and I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Just because it's Elvis, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what else happened this week in Elvis history?
On March 7th, 1960, Elvis officially arrived back at Graceland, and a press conference was held in Vernon's office in the backyard of Graceland. A guitar-shaped cake with lyrics from some of his songs sat waiting for him outside of the office.
Okay, well, speaking of that, how about we play another clip? That happened the day before, 10 years to the day before my birthday, on March 7th, 1960. I was born March 8th, 1970. So that was a pretty famous press conference, and we'll play a little clip of that. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Well, now you're really on. How does it feel? It's pretty hard to describe, I'll tell you. It was hard to get used to it, I mean, I've been looking forward to it for 2 years, and all of a sudden, here it is. It's not easy to adjust to it. Now that you are back, as you look back on your 2 years in the service, what was the most important thing that happened to you during your 2 years? In other words, overseas or here in the States? Well, there were a number of things that happened. Had quite a few interesting experiences. Slept out in the snow, ate sea rations, all the regular things. But I suppose the biggest thing was the fact that I did make it. I made it just like everybody. I mean, I tried to play it straight, like everybody else. And I made a lot of friends that I never would have made otherwise. And all in all, it's been a pretty good experience,
Here we go. There's a little clip from that famous press conference from 1960, held in Vernon's office in the backyard there at Graceland Abbey. You stood in that office. So what did that feel like? Because you had seen that press conference, many times before, watching, on video and all that kind of stuff. What did it feel like to stand right there and look at that chair, that empty chair that he had sat in, and what did that feel like? Do you remember?
It was really cool because that's always been, I think, my favorite interview. I mean, there's not a lot, so that's definitely one of my favorites, and I think it's because 1960 is one of my favorite Elvis years. It was definitely the office is a lot bigger than I thought it was. It looked smaller from the interview, so I wasn't expecting it to be as big as it was, and I had thought it was only like a one-room building.
So
But
a lot bigger than you expected.
Yeah.
Now, overall, people, when they visit Graceland, they say that Graceland itself is a lot smaller.
It is.
Than they expected.
It's so much smaller. And maybe it seems like that because we can't go upstairs and there's like a whole bunch of more rooms upstairs. But it is. It's a lot smaller than it looks like in pictures. You go through it so fast unless you take your time.
And mansions were built different. People got to realize that mansion was built in the 30s, And they didn't make rooms big, huge, and spacious like they do now. And it really does feel more like a home than a mansion when you go to Graceland, don't it?
Yeah.
It don't have a mansion feel to it
No,
when you
not at
go
all.
through there. I was
It's
listening.
not like when I went to Mount Vernon and I was like, "Holy crap."
Yeah, the
It's
rooms are
really huge.
huge, and yeah. I was listening to Memphis Mafia Kid a couple hours ago, and love them guys. The Smith family. I love the Smith family.
Mhm.
And a question that got sent to him was, "Is there?" He said, "They asked if there's one picture in your mind that runs over and over again in your mind of Elvis." Um, and he said, "Yes," immediately. He said he didn't even have to think about it. He said the picture that always pops in my mind is him walking down the steps at Graceland. He said it was always a commanding presence and stuff when he would finally come downstairs, and he said that's what sticks. He said there's a lot of things that do, but he said that's the one thing that sticks in his mind is Elvis walking down the steps at Graceland.
I think when you go to Graceland, you can't help but look at the stairs and wait for him to come down because it just feels like you're walking into somebody's home and they're gonna. I mean, Elvis has such a presence, even though he's not there. Really, he is, and it's
Right.
like I felt like he was gonna walk down the steps and greet us all because that's what he
It
would
does
do.
feel like that.
That's
It
what he would
definitely
do.
does. So he said in that press conference that he made a lot of friends that he wouldn't have made otherwise. And we know that two men that he made friends with stayed with him the rest of his life
Mhm.
in the Army. So he had to be definitely thinking of those two, Joe Esposito and your favorite. Who was it?
Charlie Hodge.
That's right. Charlie Hodge met him while he was in the Army. And those two friends stayed for a lifetime or the rest of his life.
Mhm.
Um, Two guys that would play a pretty integral part of the rest of his career, even more so than guys that he grew up with and stuff. These guys, they really
Right.
played an integral part of his life after um, they basically gave up their own, lives. I think Joe moved from Chicago, to Memphis, and
Yeah, he did. He went back to Chicago for a few days to see his family and then went to Memphis to work for Elvis because Elvis had asked him to work with him, I think, like, right before they left or something like that. It was, like, either right a few days after Elvis got there or a few months or, like, right before they left. I don't remember what Joe said. I just read some of his book.
then Charlie, I believe, already lived in Tennessee. I'm not sure if I'm correct about
Yeah.
that or not, but
Yeah, he
I
did.
believe he did. That he already lived.
I think he was from Memphis. Was he?
No, he wasn't from Memphis. I'd have to look it up, but I know he was from Tennessee.
I can
Maybe
look
up
it up.
closer to the Nashville area is probably where he was from. But I'm
Oh,
not
he was born in Alabama.
okay.
He
So there
was
we go.
born in Decatur, however you say that.
Decatur,
Decatur, Alabama.
Decatur, Alabama. Okay. He definitely lived in Tennessee the rest of his life after
Yeah,
after Elvis. He
yeah.
pretty much stayed in Tennessee. So yeah, those are two friends that he made in the service that
I think Charlie was one of the guys who never got fired.
I
Because
believe.
when Elvis went on that rampage and fired everybody, I don't think Charlie was one of them.
No, I don't think he was. Matter
Because
of fact, I
Charlie
think
came in clueless. It was
yep.
like, what
So
happened?
I think he had Charlie go hire them all back.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. He had
yeah, he told Charlie to go get them, and bring them all back.
Charlie got lucky. I don't think he ever got fired.
No, he was always
He
there, and
usually he stayed out of Elvis's business. He knew what not to do and what to do.
yeah, for sure. So what else? I think we got one more thing that happened on my birthday here.
Yeah, March 8th, 1961, Elvis got in his Rolls Royce and drove to Nashville to be honored by the Tennessee legislator with honorary colonel.
See, he had a better he had a better colonel designation than the colonel did, because the colonel was never really a colonel at all.
No, he wasn't
He was
at
never a
all.
colonel. He was never a Tom, and he was never a
Never a
Parker.
Parker.
But here,
Andrews Van
Elvis was
Pelt.
given honorary colonel. I wonder if that bugged the colonel that Elvis was actually made an honorary colonel.
I'm surprised he didn't try and stop it from happening.
Sergeant Elvis Presley was made an honorary colonel, March 8th,
Colonel Elvis Presley.
Colonel Elvis Presley. He should have. I bet if I know Elvis, I'm sure he ribbed the colonel
Oh, I'm
like
sure. Like,
crazy.
immediately as they walked out of that building.
I am sure that
Now
he
who's the
gave.
colonel?
Now who's the colonel? I bet he gave him a hard time about that. I can definitely see Elvis doing that.
Oh, 100%.
So Abby, on her way down to, I saw a little thing that you put up there on the way down to Florida. You got to see the Elvis on tour Jacksonville Bridge again, huh? Didn't drive over it, but you saw it, right?
No. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
One of the first, or I think it was last year. Yeah, it was last June. I went over it, and I
This time you just
accidentally,
saw it.
yeah, I accidentally got the exact shot that's in EOT. But yeah, I saw every single time that I come down here, we drive through Jacksonville, and I'm immediately up looking for the bridge. And then I look for the ViStar, because the ViStar building, I don't even know what it is, but it used to be, I think the Jacksonville Coliseum is what it used to be that he played in, I don't know what year, 72, I think.
72, yeah, I believe, yeah.
Yeah.
During
Yeah,
Elvis on
72.
tour.
Yeah, Elvis on tour. What am I talking
Yeah.
about? And then, yeah, in June, I saw the Florida theater where he played in 56. So
I've
there's
got
a
to get
few.
down to Florida because there's a lot of Elvis spots in Florida. I got to come down to
Yeah,
Florida sometime and do an Elvis Florida tour and try to hit those spots.
I'm gonna go in a few days, I think, or at some point. Bike week is going on in Daytona, so I don't know. I guess we're gonna go over there. I don't know. I guess we're gonna go over there, and I'm gonna go drive past and probably stop at the Peabody Auditorium that he played in 56, I think. Um, there's a pretty good bit of Elvis spots here. Um, and then the other
Oh,
place that
yeah.
I saw like 2 or 3 years ago was a waffle restaurant that he ate at in the 50s. And we didn't stop there, but I was looking it up, and then I looked up and we drove past it. And there's a sign outside that said Elvis ate here. I'm like, "Oh my god."
Very cool. And of course, he filmed Follow That Dream there in
Yeah, I was really close to that place. I was literally like
Florida.
30 minutes from it when I went to the uh Florida Elvis Festival, but I didn't
He would
go.
have been in Florida pretty close. It should be coming up because he filmed the Frank Sinatra TV special in Miami, Florida, about not too long after he got out of the Army. So
Ooh.
that date should be coming up.
I wonder if that place is still
That
there
date, it
that
is
he
because your
filmed it.
mother talked to your mom about it. Your mom's been there.
Are you serious? Miami's like
Yeah,
3
talk to
hours
your
from
mom
me.
later about it. Yeah, your mom's been there. It's at the La Fontainebleau Hotel, and it's still there. Your mom went down there for a Sheets trip, the company she used to work for. So you have to ask your mother about that later. I had her take pictures
Miami
of the
Miami's like 3
ballroom
hours
for
from
me.
here, so
Yeah, I
I
had
don't
your
think
mom
I'd be
years
able to
ago.
go.
She sent me pictures of the ballroom that they did that show, and it's still there. So yeah, well, one of these days I have to travel
Interesting.
down to Florida, and we'll hit all the Elvis. We'll spend a few days down there and just hit all the Elvis spots down there in Florida.
Yeah,
Then come home and talk about it.
there's a few places in Richmond that he played, but one of them got tore down. Oh, and I'm really butthurt because you know the pictures of him at his hotel in Daytona where he's got
Mm-hmm.
the tied up shirt? Yeah,
Yes.
they
Yeah.
tore it down.
Oh my.
So that's gone. They always tear down the hotels. It sucks. They tear down everything.
They really do. We're losing history
Did they
like
tear down
crazy.
the Richmond Coliseum yet?
I think as we speak, it's still standing, but it's not too far away from being demolished. But I
Uh,
think, if I'm not
I haven't even
mistaken, it's
seen it
still
yet.
there.
I
I
drive
passed
past
by it a
it.
few times.
I'm 5 minutes away from it every single time that I come here, and when we're driving, but I've never seen it, and I want to.
You have to look on your way back and see if you can see if it's still there. So Baz been still doing the media tours and still doing promotions about the show, and he's still spilling out some more tidbits about what might be coming. And he mentioned for the first time the 4-hour Austin Butler movie.
Did he?
Yes, he did, and
I missed it.
he accidentally talked about it a couple days ago, and
No,
and
really,
kind
you're gonna have to send it to me because I haven't seen that.
it actually
He's
came.
only like he's talked about it before, but he's never like confirmed that it's gonna come out at some point.
He actually
He
talked
just
about it
said
and kind of
that
threw a
it's
nugget
there.
out there that it's coming. Not when, but that it's
Yes.
coming.
It's gonna be next year. It's gonna be next year.
It'll probably be for 27, probably some kind of immediate,
Thank
a
God.
streaming. It won't be in the theaters. You're not going to put a 4-hour movie in the theaters, but
No,
it'll
it'll
be a
be. I bet you it's gonna be. He's gonna
Netflix or
no
Amazon or
that or a director's cut on DVD.
something like that. Yeah, but
I think
some
he's
kind of
gonna put that
streaming
in a DVD.
platform will grab it and do it as a series.
I hope. Oh my
Is how
God,
they'll
I've
do
been
it.
waiting 3 years for this.
And he talked again about the musical
4 years.
that's coming. So we'll have an Elvis musical that's going to be running in New York, unfortunately. So I had to go to New York to see it.
No, it's
We'll
gonna
have to
be
get
on Broadway. It's gonna be expensive.
we'll have to get a group of people up and figure out a way to go see it. We're already planning it. So that's about everything that we've covered everything we wanted to cover. And
Yeah.
this was a lot of fun. And remember, this Elvis history segment is going to become a regular part of the show. We are working on making Song of the Day part of the show, but we're figuring out how to get around making sure that we don't get flagged for copyright. So I'm looking and researching different things to be able to make Song of the Day happen. So that's something for everybody to look forward to. We're going to start doing that, where maybe each of us will pick a Song of the Day each week. But
I'm
like I said,
excited for that.
we're I'm just making sure that we're doing really good so far, and we don't want to get flagged
Right.
for copyright. So
I think you can play a certain amount of the song without getting copyrighted.
as long as you talk before it and you talk after it, immediately after it, and then you can use the education clause.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking at. So y'all got that to look forward to. The show will continue to get better as I continue to figure out the editing process and adding things and stuff like that. I'm learning something every week. So that's it for this week's episode. This was our very first multi-state episode as far as me and Abby go. We've talked to guests, in different states and stuff like that. But we'll have some more guests coming up here very soon. So thank you all so much for joining us on the EP Fan Zone podcast, a podcast that is by, for, and about Elvis fans. And I'm going to sign off and say good night. Abby, tell everybody goodbye.
Bye.
And we will see you all next time. Have a good night.